Hi there, and welcome back. I'm Dr. VanLife, aka Dr. John Kaiser, and this is Healthy Living with Dr. VanLife. Today's adventure is Joshua Tree National Park, which I've been to 15 years ago, but it's been a long time. And since I just finished writing a book called Full Spectrum Healing, it is time to get away. It's about 7 p.m. and I like to leave at night and drive. We're going to drive most of the night. Actually, we're going to drive till about midnight and probably pull off at a rest area and then wake up and drive into Joshua Tree.
I said the sun gonna shine in my back door someday.
It wouldn't be a morning in the van without some really good coffee out of my French press. Most national parks have a town right outside for when you can't get a reservation in the park, you can stay in the town. So we're just about 5 minutes away from the north entrance to Joshua Tree National Park, and the town is the town you get to come to is 29 Palms. So 29 Palms is where the visitor center is. It's where there's gas, some hotels, maybe some restaurants. So we're going to enter the park at 29 Palms and drive south. And then you're going to get to this intersection and you're going to stay toward the left because we're on our way down to Cottonwood Campground at the south end of the park. Well, I finally made it to my campsite in Joshua Tree National Park, and it was a 20-hour trip. So from San Francisco Bay Area to Southern California, Joshua Tree National Park, 20-hour trip, not all driving. I left at 6 o'clock last night. Slept for about 5 hours at a rest area, and now finally 3 or 4 hours later after I woke up, we're at the campsite. It's 108 degrees, but I've got a pretty nice breeze here because the Coachmen Beyond van I'm in has a screen in the back and it has a screen in the front, and so I get really nice cross flow, and I can even open this window and get even more airflow. So yay. So now it's time to celebrate. It's red stripe time. So it's finally cooled down enough where a fire makes sense. The desert is nicer at night for certain. That oppressive heat goes away, and it's extremely quiet, which is what I'm looking for. 29 Palms. That's an interesting place. What you'd expect, motels, restaurants, gas stations, pretty much. But if you look deeper, I found a great restaurant. It's called the Ground Squirrel. It's a local place. It's like a beer garden. I had the most amazing salad. There were figs and apples and blue cheese crumble and, horseradish vinaigrette with just the right amount of bite. It's delicious. And then I needed a hat because this ain't gonna cut it hiking in the desert. Went to the first place and it was like a local artisan shop. $145 for a hat. I said, no thanks. He said, try Ace Hardware. Bullseye. Ace Hardware had a hat, and it was 20 bucks. Let's see what you think of it. So what do you think? 20 bucks at Ace Hardware. I think it does a pretty good job as a desert hat. So I did a short hike this morning, Cottonwood Springs Trail, and it was really nice, better than I expected. But note to self, don't camp in the desert after May 1st. It's just too hot. Once you get to 12:30, 1 p.m., all activity needs to cease until 5 p.m. I learned 3 things on my hike. Number 1, if you go off the trail when you're in the desert, you got to leave a marker. Number 2, if you're going to climb on the rocks, it'd be a really good idea to have some gloves. They can be utility gloves, they can be bicycle gloves, but having both hands free, I'll get to that in a second. Having both hands free with some gloves, if you're climbing on the rocks with good hiking boots, you're in good shape. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, wear a hat that fits your head. I have a relatively small head for hats anyway, and this is a one-size-fits-all. So it's very loose. And because I had to keep one hand up here, I almost fell down a gully. So what I'm going to show you today is how to make a great, nutritious, tasty lunch that you can drink. All right, first thing we're going to do, I've got some frozen fruit. Thanks to my nice big freezer, I've got some frozen fruit. These are apples. That's going to make it cold. And then, these are great, by the way. They're made of silicone. They can go in the freezer. They can go in the microwave or even in an oven up to 500 degrees. Link in the description. Okay, next. Hemp milk, unsweetened vanilla, because there's going to be plenty of sweetness. You don't need any sugar in this. Next, some coconut. And this is a great protein powder. Everyone should have at least 2 or 3 protein powders because you'll get bored with one. So this is Garden of Eating. This is their meal replacement chocolate. No sugar and 10 grams of protein per scoop. So let's put about a scoop in there. Next we're going to put some raw ginger in there. Okay, and I do want to show you what we're pairing this delicious drink. I'm going to just taste it. We're pairing it with almond butter, rice cakes, salted almonds, a little dessert. You know what you do after lunch when between 2 and 5 p.m. in the desert? Nothing. I'm going to read, I'm going to have a siesta, I'm going to listen to some music, but it's 105 out there and I'm very comfortable. I got a nice cool breeze, so we're just going to rest and enjoy the quiet of the desert. I just discovered this dual capture mode on my iPhone. So you're looking at me, but you also see what I see looking down at the other end of the van. That's pretty cool. Just shows you what you do when you're bored in the desert because it's too hot to go outside. Tomorrow morning, we're leaving Cottonwood Springs and we're driving back to the north end of the park because down here in Cottonwood Springs, there aren't a whole lot of Joshua trees. And being Joshua Tree National Park, I want to see Joshua trees. And up north, there's a first come, first served campground called Hidden Valley. And that's got some good scenery. So I made my way up from Cottonwood Springs, and eventually you're going to get to this intersection again, and this time you're going to go left. And then the scenery really picks up. Lots of boulders, Skull Rock Trail, Sheep Pass Campground, and eventually you're going to get to Hidden Valley Campsite. Hidden Valley Campsite is totally different than Cottonwood Springs. We have boulders all around. It's cooler because we're at 4,200 feet in the high desert. And there's Joshua trees everywhere you look. So we're real happy that we decided to come to Hidden Valley. One of my most favorite vegetables is a watermelon radish. I grew this in my garden. Look at that color. Those are beta-carotenes and anthocyanins and other great nutrients. One of the reasons I talk a lot about health nutrition is because I just finished writing this book called Full Spectrum Healing. It'll be out in about 6 months. It's about how to improve and strengthen your health, lengthen your longevity, and also how to recover from chronic illness. So a big part of that is eating healthfully. And in doing my research about this book, I found that the studies not funded by the dairy industry or the meat industry, the academic studies show pretty conclusively, the more plants you eat, the healthier you are. So in my book, I recommend being about 75% vegetarian, and the other 25%, it's up to you. As you can see, it's about 3/4 plants and about 1/4 meat, protein, and in my research, that is the best ratio. So I've owned my Coachmen Beyond for about 2 years now. And after a very bumpy start, which I've made several videos about, you should watch if you're thinking of purchasing a van. After the first 3 months, we got along great. I love the Ford Transit 4-wheel drive platform, so smooth. But anyway, I wanted to show you one thing that happened, a problem with it right before we left on this trip that I've been dealing with the whole time. So this is supposed to be a screen door that easily slides across. But the very thin string that holds the whole thing together, it snapped. So I need to know how to fix this. Do I have to remove the whole metal frame and get a whole new frame assembly from Coachmen and then have it fail again within 2 years? Or is there a workaround? So to all my buddies on Dean's Coachmen Beyond Facebook page, help me out. What should I do to fix this screen? Everyone I talked to down here said, watch out for rattlesnakes. So what you really want to do is you want to make noise. Because if you make noise, they'll hear you before you see them. Joshua trees grow about 10 to 15 feet apart due to limited water availability. But you can bet all the trees in this valley are communicating through their roots and with chemicals they release into the air. I want to thank you so much for sharing this trip with me. Joshua Tree National Park is massive and spectacular, and I hope you get a chance to visit it and to support our national parks. I'm Dr. VanLife, and I hope to see you further on down the road.
Africa.